Hi, it's Miss Melissa with the Oosterhout Free Library, and today we're celebrating the Day of the Dead. It's a holiday that happens now around Halloween. It's not Halloween. Now, Day of the Dead might sound scary like Halloween or sad, but it's not. It's a holiday about remembering our ancestors, our family members, and celebrating their lives. So it's really a happy, festive time. There are a lot of flowers, there's candy shaped like skulls, all kinds of decorations. And in Guatemala, where we're going today, it is celebrated with a kite festival. So our book is called Baralete, and it is by Elsa Amado. It's a groundwood book published by Douglas and McIntyre. So lots of people in the United States celebrate this holiday, mainly people of Hispanic heritage, and in countries like Mexico and Guatemala and other countries in Central South America, it's a really big deal. The rainy season is coming to an end. When Juan looks up at the sky, he sees fewer fluffy white clouds blowing up the valley on the soft south wind. The corn is almost ready to harvest. Now is the time to get ready for the most important time of the year. You can see the volcano in the background. Day of the Dead is also the Day of the Kite, where Juan lives with his parents and his brothers, Jose and Beto. Their grandfather used to make the kite with the boys' help, but this year he died just before the rains came. Now Juan must try to remember all the things his grandfather taught him. With the help of Jose and his friends, he'll build the kite himself. Beto's very little, but he'll learn by helping, as they once did. The children of Santiago climb onto the roofs and test the wind with small kites. They're very impatient. Then one day, Juan notices that it's getting cooler. This morning, when he came outside, he could see his breath. Now the boys have time to go to the market. When they come home, they're carrying a pile of tissue paper. It's all colors, red, yellow, blue, green, and orange, like a rainbow. The paper is cut into squares, triangles, and rectangles. First, a cardboard circle is cut for the center. Then round and round, piece by piece, the bright paper is pasted into an ever-growing circle. Inside the dark house, the colors glow. This is the best time of all. Each kite will be different. Some people will put pictures on their kites, others just plain patterns. Once the kites are up in the air, they'll rip a little, but no one minds because they're still beautiful. Beto likes to fly little kites. It's easier. So here's a kite with pictures of people on it. See how big it is? I'll bet those people are family members of the artists. And then here's one with an abstract pattern. Here's more people getting ready. When Juan walks outside, he can see that the volcano has been erupting. It often does. But instead of rising straight up to the sky, the plume of smoke is bending. The north wind is blowing. The sky overhead is deep blue. It is getting ready for the Day of the Dead also. Everything is ready. It's almost time. The kite is lying folded on the floor. Sticks for building the frame, made from a wild reed, are stacked in the yard of the house, waiting to be attached to the kite. First, they lay the great circle of paper on the ground. Then they place the spokes inside, just so. If they're too far apart, the paper will tear. If they're too close together, the kite will be too heavy. As they work, they remember everything their grandfather taught them. They remember how the old man's strong hands tied and cut and pasted paper to make the most beautiful kite in the world, and how he mounted it onto a frame to make it steady. A string is tied around the reeds almost at their ends to create a big circle. The colored paper circle is folded over the string and glued in place. Finally, three ropes are tied on right through the paper and attached to the flying rope itself. Now they make the fringe, which rustles when the wind is strong enough to lift the kite. They can't decide whether to add flags like some people do. In the end, they put on flags, which is what I would do. I'd make it as colorful and fancy as possible. They head down to the cemetery. People are buried there, some in what look like small houses. On Day of the Dead, the village comes to sit with the dead and keep them company. They tell them what has been happening in the village all year. In his mind, Juan whispers to his grandfather, "Today I will fly the kite I made for you. I hope you like it. I hope it flies." Just then, Juan shivers a little. He looks up. A gust of cold wind has tickled his neck. As the sun rises in the sky, the wind grows stronger. He can see pine needles move. He can see his kite and all the kites trembling a little. He can see the fringe rustling in the wind. The time has come. He and his friends pick up the huge kite. Beto watches. He wishes he were bigger. Juan takes the heavy ball of rope. Will it work? Will it fly? All around him, people are doing the same. The kites are straining at the wind. Juan gathers up his rope and starts to run down the hill. He can feel the kite pulling. "Grandfather," he thinks, "make my kite fly. It'll fly for you." And then suddenly he feels a lift on the other end of the line. He looks over his shoulder, and there the kite is just leaving his friend's hand on his way up to the sky. Juan digs in his heels to the ground as the kite almost pulls him off his feet. More line, and up it flies higher and higher. The sky is full of color as the kites swoop over the cemetery. Juan can feel the wind in his hair and the kite's flight in his hand. His grandfather must be up there, soaring and dipping and turning, looking down on his village and his grandsons, flying the beautiful kite they have made. There's lots more information in this book. You can come into the library and get it, or call to pick it up. Have a happy Day of the Dead.